Hello guys, welcome to King's Treasure Global TV and welcome to today's video. In this video today we'll be talking about the Polish Embassy work visa interview, the questions and the answers. Like I promised in my previous video that I'm going to make video about the questions and the answers for the interview, telling you the reason or the purpose of the interviewer for each question and the possible answers. But before we get started in this video, I want to give out this disclaimer that I'm not an immigration consultant, and any information I'm providing here is just my personal experience and some of the experience of some friends and people that I know that have attended the interview. So viewers, you have the duty to make your facts finding, do your due diligence, and I also encourage you to share this video, like this video. And before we continue with this video, if you know you are a new visitor to this channel, kindly subscribe to this channel. Click on that notification bell so that anytime I post a new video, you'll be among the first people to see it. And also try to share this video so that the content gets to those who need it, those who are preparing for the interview, so that at the end we just have to be happy people are getting visa. That is going to be our testimony that people who watch this video, they make use of the content properly and they're able to get visa. Thank you for doing that. Now, without wasting much of our time, let us go straight to the main content of this video, the questions and the answers. Number one, what is the name of your company in Poland? In this question, the interviewer wants to know if you, the applicant, is aware or if you know the company employing you. Most of the names of these companies comes in Polish language. So if you're not conversant with the pronunciation of Polish words, I advise you to make use of your Google translation so that you're able to get the names correctly. Number two, what is the name of your agency? Now, this question usually come to those who make use of agency. An agency is a company that the major company have contracted to help them do sourcing of workers, especially foreign workers. I know some people may have gotten their work permit directly from the company employing them. If you have gotten your work permit from your company directly, then this question may not be necessary for you. But for those who have an agency in between them and the main company employing them, please note you have to study your work contracts to understand whether the contract is between you and your agency, or whether the contract is between you and the company. If the contract is between you and your company, then you mention the name of your company when they ask for the name of the company, and also mention the name of the agency if they ask you about the name of the agency. Then if the contract is between you and the agency, there is no need to mention the name of the company, because the agency is in that contract, in that labor contract, both your employer and your inviting party. Please take note of that. The next thing they may ask you is, where is your company located in Poland? Here they want to know if you know the address of your company. Please try to provide the address correctly. Don't forget to mention the place, such as the number of the building. If it is something like in a flat, the flat number, the building number, the town's name or the municipality, then the city where the company is located. If possible, try to learn the address code offhand. That will equally help. The next question is, how did you know about the company? How did you get to know the company? In this case, this question is very tricky. You have to establish that you have a contact with the company. The main purpose of asking this question is that the embassy want to know if actually you have had an interaction with your employer. Even though you can, maybe you got the work permit through an agency, they want to be sure if the company is, if you have had that interaction with the company you're going to work with. In this case, I will advise you to tell the embassy the truth. If you passed through an agency, tell them you passed through an agency. If you got the job maybe through your internet search, and but the most important thing there is that you have to establish that you have had contact with them, whether it is by phone call, whether it is maybe you had your interview through a Zoom meeting, whether you have your interview via any other channel. But try to make sure you establish that you have a contact with your employer. The next question may be about your job. What is your job in the company? Please, you have to try as much as possible to distinguish between your job title and when they ask about something like job description. Job title and job description are two different things. For example, if you will be working as a salesman in a particular company, your job title is a salesman. Then other duties of a salesman, those duties that salesman will be performing, comes as your what? As your job description. Please always look at your job contract or your labor contract to understand if the job description is stated. Where it is not stated, you are advised to use your Google, put in the title of your job title, and search for the duties of a person who is performing such job, so that you are not taken unawares. So that's the next question. Maybe what will you be doing in that company? That is to say, what is your job description? Now we move to the next question. How long will you be working per day, per week, per month? How long will you be working? In this question, they want to know if you actually know how many hours you'll be working at the end of the month. They may put the question per day, they may put it per week or per month. Usually in Poland, for you to be regarded as a full-time worker, you must have done nothing less than 160 hours of job per month. So if you divide this by 4 weeks, if the question comes like per week, you know it is going to be 40 hours times 4 will give you around 160. If they ask per day, 40 divided by 5 days of the week, 5 working days of the week, that's Monday to Friday, that 40 divided by 5 will give us around 8 or so. So do your calculation properly. So 8 hours per day guarantees you full-time job, and 40 hours per week guarantees you full-time job. 160 hours per week guarantees you full-time job. Please do not start telling the officer you're going to work extra hours, like what do you call it, overtime. You know overtime is not fixed. Overtime is not fixed. You may have overtime sometimes, and at the other time is overtime opportunity is not available. So stick to what exactly is stated in your work contract. That is why you have to study your work contract properly. The next question will be, how much is your salary? How much is your salary? Now, the officer wants to know if you actually know how much you'll be earning for your work, for the work you're going to do in Poland. Now, they may ask you your salary per annum, they may ask you your salary per month, they may ask you your salary per week, and they may ask you your salary per day or per hour. So, how do you know this? Your salary will be stated in your work contract. Ensure you do your mathematical calculation to get what that amount of amount in a month can give you in a year, in 12 months. Try to also divide it, do your proper calculation to know how much you're going to get in a week, how much you're going to get in a day, and how much you're going to get per hour, based on the number of hours stated in your work contract. Please, this is very important. Okay, the next question that you may be asked is, concerning your salary, don't forget we have a gross salary and we have net salary. The gross salary here is the total money that is paid by the company for the job you have done, without deduction, without the legal deductions such as taxes and every other thing. Now, when the money for tax and every other contributions that you are liable to is removed from your gross salary, you get your net salary. So your net salary is the amount of money you take home at the end of the day, while the gross salary is the amount that the company pays, including the deduction that will be made before you get your net pay. So the next question goes like, where is your accommodation in Poland? In this question, the interviewer will want to know if you actually know where you're going to stay in Poland, or if actually your accommodation is provided in Poland. Now, the details about your accommodation, if they are provided by your employer, will equally be in one of the supporting documents sent by your employer. Read some of the letters, like letter of declaration, proof of accommodation, and things like that. You will surely see the address. Memorize the address because it is important you tell them exactly where. Sometimes they may equally ask you, what is the distance between your accommodation and your company? So I will advise you to study the address of your accommodation. Go to Google location, put in that address and the address of your company where you'll be working, and ask what is the distance from so place to so place. Google is going to tell you. Okay. Next is, what do you do for a living? Or what is your present occupation? What do you do for a living? Or what is your present occupation? When this question is asked, the officer want to know. The officer want to link your experience, your job experience, to the work you want to do in Poland. So, mind how or what you say. And please, do not say anything you cannot prove. If you say, for example, you're going to Poland to work as a salesman, for example, and for example, now you are a carpenter. A carpenter going to Poland to do the work of a salesman, and perhaps you didn't show the proof of where you have done a job as a salesman in the past. It looks somehow. So try to make sure your job, the job title in your contract and your experience have a good relationship. Okay, the next question is, what is the duration of your work contract? What is the duration of your work contract? Please, the duration of your work contract and the duration of your work permit may not be the same. You may have a work permit of 1 year, while your work contract is 2 years. Please study these two documents to know the duration of each of them. However, the duration of your work contract may even be more than the time the visa duration, or the visa period or visa time you are asking, as in the time you are asking the embassy to give you, maybe 1 year visa, while the work duration, the contract duration is 2 years. Please do not lie about your contract duration, because it is written in your labor contract. Study it carefully. Now, they may ask you, how long do you intend to stay in Poland? Mind you, they have just asked you the duration of your labor contract. Then, how long do you intend to stay in Poland? The length of time you tend to stay in Poland should not be more than what you have in your work permit. Okay? For example, if your work permit is 1 year, do not state you're going to stay in Poland for the period of the duration of your contract, because already you know that your work permit cannot carry it. It means maybe you want to go and start doing a residence, and you're not going for residence purpose. You're not going there to live long, as according to what you're presenting to the embassy. Please try to balance the equation. How long you intend to stay in Poland we are supposed to match with how long a time you are asking for visa. Next, for example, they may equally ask you, what will you do at the expiration of your contract? What will you do when your contract expires? And the right answer to this is, since you're not presenting to the embassy you are going to stay or you want to be living there, the best thing is to tell them the time or the duration of the visa you're asking for. Do not state you're going to stay longer than the visa you are asking for. The next question may be, are you married? And if you are married, you may be asked the number of children you have. Now at this point, the interviewer wants to look at your family ties, proof of family ties. They actually want to know if you have something that will bring you back to your home country. Because for you to get a visa, you must prove to the embassy officials, you must prove to the consular that you're not going to overstay the visa if given to you. Now, if you have wife and children, or you have a wife, the embassy officer may ask you about, how they will cope without your presence. So, you should know what to say about this. In some cases, they may twist the question like, what about you get there and see a very nice job for your spouse? Wouldn't you rather bring her over? Wouldn't you rather bring him over for both of you to live together? Then such question looks like a trap. But you should be able to speak to the document you have with the embassy. If the document you have with them says you want to go and come back, then stick to it. Unless you are telling them you want to overstay your visa, which is not advisable. The next question goes like, who is paying for your travel? Who will pay for your feeding? Like, who is paying for your flight ticket, or who is going to pay for your feeding? In this case, they are trying to know who is going to bear the responsibility of your travel to Poland, like your flight ticket, your travel insurance, and maybe while in Poland, your feeding. Please try to know if your labor contract says your company will bear such responsibility, either in full or in part. Now, if the company, for example, is not providing you a flight ticket, then you say you are the one who is going to do that. Or if at all you don't have enough money that you're using a sponsor's bank statement, then you mention the name of whoever that is sponsoring you. Okay? All right, because the essence of this is that they want to know how much you have, if it will be able to take care of your flight to Poland, if you'll be able to take care of your insurance, if you'll be able to take care of your feeding for the main time before you start earning salary when you start working in Poland. Next is, you may have such question like, tell me about your travel itinerary, or tell me about your travel plan. When you're asked about your travel plan, you are supposed to tell the officer about, speak to the officer based on what you have in your flight itinerary. The departure dates, the arrival date in Poland, the departure date from your country, the arrival date in Poland, the departure date from Poland, the arrival date in your country. If you have got maybe some stopover in your flight, like your kind of transit from one country to another, that is connecting flight, also state it there. The next thing they may ask is question about your insurance. And they say, tell me about your insurance. So in this case, you have to talk about the insurance company, give the name of the insurance company, give the start date of your insurance cover and the end date of your insurance cover. Next question that you may be getting will be like, who will receive you in Poland? Who will receive you in Poland? In this case, they want to be sure that somebody is responsible or is going to pick you up, being a new person there, or that you know your way or how to, move from the airport to where you'll be staying. Now, your inviting party will be the best person or the best to say is coming to pick you from the airport. But what about the officer asks you, what if the inviting party fails to show up at the right time? What will you do? This is another tricky question, and there is only one solution to this. Now, even though your contract of employment states that you have accommodation with your company, now it is important that you book a hotel reservation for a few days, a night, 2 nights, 3 nights, as the case may be. Now, in this case, if such question comes, you remind the officer that, look, I have a I have a hotel booking in case, just in case my inviting party did not show up on time or fails to come to pick me, then I can sleep at the hotel then and make calls and contact them. That's a very smart way to sort this kind of question. Okay. Another question that you may have is about your passport. The officer may ask you to tell him about your passport, tell him or her about your passport. In this case, don't forget the issuing authority of your passport, the place of issue, the issue date, the passport number, and the expiry date of your passport. Next, you may be asked, have you been to a Schengen country before? If the answer is yes, do not hide the fact, say yes, and if no, say no. And they will equally ask you, have you applied for a Schengen visa before and was denied? Please be honest with the answer. Now, if you are able to get all these questions right at this point, then I think the interview is not going to be a big deal for you, because it's like you have an exposition of what you are going to face. However, the good news about this is that all these plethora of questions will not be thrown to you as an individual. This could be a kind of list of all the questions, that different people have faced, that has been asked at the embassy. It doesn't mean they will throw all this number of questions to you. So, however, you will be maybe expecting like from 3, 4, 5, maybe up to 6 or 7 questions, as the case may be, depending on the facts before them, depending on the documents before them, depending on the kind of doubts in the mind of the person who is asking you these questions. So if you're able to study all this and you're able to link them correctly with your documents, I don't think you have any problem, at the point of the interview about the questions and the answers. So with this, I think we've come to the conclusion of this video. But before I wrap it up, don't forget, very important, study your work permit. Study all the information in your work permit, because it contains the details of your company, details of your agency, if any, and the details of your work. So study also your labor contract. It is very, very important. Do not say anything outside. If questions come to you that are already, the details are already in your labor contract. If you say anything outside there, then you're contradicting yourself. So study these documents, including the other supporting documents that your Polish employer must have sent you. This will help you to balance all the answers you'll be giving to the officers who are going to interview you. With this, I thank you for your listening ear. I thank you for your attention. I thank you for your time. Share this video. If at all by this time you have not subscribed, subscribe to this channel so that subsequent videos will come to you, because you have clicked on the notification bell. And if you have not done that, click on that notification bell right now. Then if at all you did not watch my first video about what you are likely going to see before the interview questions or during the interview, from the time of your arrival, how you get to prepare, check a link that I have provided for my first video under this video. You're going to see it. Watch that video. And with this all, I wish you best of luck, and I'm waiting for your testimony that you got the visa. Thank you. God bless you.